The story begins with a man locked in a sterile room, hooked up to a strange machine against his will.
You kidnapped me. You strapped me into that thing.
His name is Desmond Miles, and what he doesn't know yet is that this machine will dig into his DNA and pull him through the life of an assassin ancestor, Altair, during the Crusades of 1191. By the end of this journey, you'll see how Altair's choices ripple forward into a modern-day fight over artifacts that can shape the world.
Settle in, grab a snack, and subscribe for full video game breakdowns. Peace might be possible. Is it worth free will? To answer that, we first need to see the conditions of Desmond's captivity.
Desmond's first appearance isn't behind a bar or walking city streets. He's trapped inside Abstergo Industries, a faceless corporation with the outward polish of a pharmaceutical giant, but the heart of something much darker.
Don't play coy with me. There isn't time. You're an assassin.
The place doesn't feel like an office at all. It's a clinical maze of white walls and buzzing lights, designed to strip away any sense of time or freedom. From the moment we meet him, Desmond isn't making choices, he's following orders, and the unsettled question kicks in immediately. Why does a global powerhouse want an ordinary bartender? The answer starts to take shape when you realise Abstergo is more than it seems. That healthcare empire is actually the modern front for the Templars, a centuries-old order obsessed with control. Their real prize isn't Desmond himself, but what's hidden in his bloodline. Using a device called the Animus, Abstergo can force Desmond to relive the memories of his ancestors. Those memories may lead to powerful artifacts, the Pieces of Eden, which the Templars believe can bend entire populations to their will. Suddenly, a guy who thought he was a nobody matters because of his DNA. Life inside Abstergo drives home just how powerless he is. Waking up in a locked room, marched to the Animus, told to lie down, every piece of his routine is managed by others. The staff looming over him don't behave like co-workers, they resemble guards. And the doctor who controls his fate, Warwick Vidic, treats him like a damaged tool. Vidic's clipped tone and constant condescension make it clear Desmond isn't considered a person here, just a living access key. The one soft presence is Lucy Stillman, Vidic's assistant. She listens, occasionally explains, even tries to calm Desmond with small kindnesses, but her compliance muddies everything. If she cares, why is she still a part of this machine? At this point, she's an enigma. Later, we'll learn she's secretly with the assassins and feeding them information. But right now, she looks like the only hint of humanity in the room. It's enough to keep you guessing about where her loyalties actually lie. Then, there's the Animus itself. At first it looks like a futuristic recliner wired with medical gear, but its purpose is stranger. The Animus taps into genetic memory, experiences encoded in DNA, and plays them back, not as a movie, but as a fully lived reality. The subject doesn't just watch history, they re-experience it through the eyes and actions of their ancestor. That's the hook. Desmond closes his eyes in 2007, and he opens them centuries earlier as Altair, an assassin moving across the world of the Crusades. The danger isn't just theoretical. Abstergo has tested others before him, and many didn't fare well. Subject 16 in particular spiraled into madness after too much time in the Animus. Desmond knows he's following that same path, which makes every session inside the machine feel more like a gamble with his sanity than a clean-cut experiment. He isn't just a captive, he's expendable. All of this, the sterile lab, Vidic's cold authority, Lucy's ambiguous compassion, the shadow of failed subjects, stacks into a tense setup. Abstergo has the cage, the Animus has the key, and Desmond, he has no escape, only a forced walk through Altair's memories. That's where the story pivots. The sterile white walls fade, and Desmond falls into the past, into stone halls, ancient rivalries, and an assassin whose first steps are anything but heroic.
Altair's story truly begins at Solomon's temple, where he enters with fellow assassins Malik and Malik's younger brother Kadar. Their orders are simple enough. Secure a piece of Eden before the Templars can seize it, but instead of showing discipline, Altair charges into the mission with unchecked pride. His overconfidence isn't just a flaw, it becomes the reason the mission collapses. Inside the temple, the three encounter Robert de Sable, the Templar Grand Master. Ignoring the stealth and his companions, Altair rushes him head on. The result is a disaster. Kadar, the youngest, is killed outright. Malik is gravely injured, his left arm destroyed and later amputated, and Altair, instead of protecting them, abandons the fight to chase Robert. He comes back empty-handed. The Templars escape with the upper hand, leaving behind only the sight of one dead assassin and another injured. In that one reckless moment, Altair's image as a flawless master crumbles. He looks selfish, careless, and utterly unworthy of his rank. The return of Masyaf seals it. For Mualim, the Brotherhood's mentor does not soften the verdict. Altair is stripped of title, honor, and privilege, cut down to the most basic rank, novice. For someone once considered the model assassin, it's a brutal fall. And the reason for it is clear. The creed isn't just about flashy blades or daring risks. It's built on 3 simple tenets. Stay hidden, do not kill innocents, and never compromise the Brotherhood. In the span of one mission, Altair broke them all. He announced himself instead of staying unseen. His blade cut recklessly, and through his arrogance, his brothers were sacrificed. Malik's reaction leaves no room for misunderstanding. He blames Altair to his face, bitter, furious, and unwilling to forgive, losing one brother to death and the use of his own arm to injury. He sees Altair not as a leader, but as the man who broke the Brotherhood's trust when it mattered the most. The hostility lingers between them, turning every interaction into a reminder of the cost of arrogance. Al-Mualim does not discard Altair completely. Instead, he commands him to earn redemption. The test is clear, structured, and brutally difficult. Altair is assigned what becomes known as the Hunt for the Nine, a series of assassinations targeting 9 powerful figures who secretly serve the Templars' cause. Each is dangerous, politically entrenched, and essential to the Knight's growing influence. If Altair wants to reclaim his place, he must complete them all. What starts as reckless pride at Solomon's Temple now resets into a demanding trial. Altair cannot coast on reputation anymore. His path forward requires discipline he's scorned, skills sharpened through failure, and loyalty to a creed he once ignored. The fall is absolute, but the climb back up is about to begin. And it won't be a single fight, it will be 9.
Altair's path forward takes shape through what becomes known as the Hunt for the Nine. Al-Mualim names 9 targets, each anchored in the power structures of the Holy Land. They are spread across Damascus, Jerusalem, and Acre, 3 cities at the heart of the Crusades. This isn't a random list of corrupt leaders, it's a roadmap of the Templar web, forcing Altair to cut through layers of influence and authority one strike at a time. Before a blade can ever be drawn though, there's procedure. In each city, Altair reports to the local bureau, where a Rafiq, the assassin agent in charge, lays out what needs to be learned. That makes intelligence the first weapon. Eavesdropping in crowded markets, interrogating guards in alleys, picking a letter off some pompous courier, they're all required to build a complete picture. Without that groundwork, the final kill isn't even authorized. You can't just rush in. The Brotherhood makes investigation the creed behind every target. This rhythm changes the story from a run of isolated hits into a careful dismantling of power. Take Damascus, where Tamir profits from weapons sales, and Jerusalem, where Garnier de Naplouse hides cruelty under the mask of a hospital. At first, they look like unrelated villains, but when Altair notices how Tamir's supplies funnel to Garnier's patients, the pattern sharpens. These men aren't lone operators, they're collaborators. That's the first real signal he's not fighting scattered corruption, but a network of Templars working in sync. Every target adds another layer. Talal, the slave trader, gestures toward control of human lives. William of Montefrat rules Acre with harsh discipline, turning the city into a war machine. Majid ad-Din wraps himself in authority of Jerusalem's courts. Alone, each seem like a tyrant of local circumstance. Together, they sound like pieces of one strategy, checking off control of trade, medicine, soldiers, law. Altair realizes too late that each fresh betrayal hints at an even larger center. Meanwhile, Malik waits at the Baruz. His bitterness stays sharp. He listens to Altair's reports with clipped patience. challenging him more with silence than with words. For Altair, these encounters are just as heavy as the assassinations themselves. He has to stand before the man who lost a brother and an arm to his arrogance, and prove over and over that he's capable of change. That judgment never disappears. It only softens as the work builds a new reputation. The cities themselves carry weight too. Damascus tightens with busy souks and narrow lanes. Jerusalem presses with guards on every corner. Acre looms with fortified walls and war-scarred streets. Each place alters the challenge and makes the next kill feel different from the last. Even when the roads keep circling back to the same truth, every death points further into the Templar core. But what matters most isn't that the 9 fall. With every life taken, Altair uncovers more of a single-threaded design, one that ties hospital wards, markets, fortresses, and courts into the same oath-bound brotherhood. By the end of the hunt, the illusion of victory settles in. It looks like the web is gone. That's exactly when the real face of Templar power steps out of the shadows.
Altair enters this stage of his mission with one name still standing: Robert de Sable. From the raid at Solomon's Temple to every thread uncovered since, Robert has loomed in the background, just a man keeping the Templar machine running. Till Altair striking Robert feels like the final step, the blow that should end the Crusader chaos spread across the Holy Land once and for all. But Robert isn't hiding in one fortress, waiting to be hunted. He's on the move, building something larger than Altair expected. His strategy is bold. He works openly to pull both Crusader and Sorensen leaders beneath one Templar banner. Unity not through peace or faith, but through control. In a war defined by religious divisions, Robert convinces sworn enemies to join forces under his influence. That reach makes him more dangerous than any of the 9 targets before, because even if Altair manages to kill him, the alliances he created do not vanish with his death. The pursuit drags Altair across the full sweep of Damascus, Acre, and Jerusalem. One lead drops in a crowded market, the next at a harbour bristling with soldiers, and then another behind the gates of a city already at its breaking point. The rhythm of the hunt no longer feels like isolated assignments. It's a drawn-out campaign against a man weaving power across the region. Every clue circles back to Robert. Every victory feels like just another piece of his larger design. Altair finally corners him. The confrontation is sharp, tense, and layered with the weight of everything sacrificed so far. But instead of closure, the scene twists. Robert doesn't deny his role as leader, but he makes clear he is not the mastermind Altair thought. He's a servant, part of a plan that runs deeper than the battlefield. And then he names the true betrayer, Al-Mualim. That single revelation cuts through all Altair's progress. Everything. The hunt for the 9, the rosters, the obedience, was not just the Brotherhood guiding him to redemption, but Al-Mualim bending him into place, using him as means to clear the board for himself. If your mentor was behind the whole thing, what was any of it for? It reframes the journey immediately. Altair hasn't been dismantling the Templar machine alone. He's been paving the way for his master's own plan. Realization is brutal, because it turns loyalty into a trap. The man who saved Altair from disgrace, who handed him part of the 9 assassinations, was never preparing him for leadership. He was steering him into manipulation. Robert's death doesn't feel like a triumph, it feels like a doorway. A final warning from an enemy whose truth lands heavier than his blade. The true enemy waits, not in Crusader camps, but as Batat Mesiaf. And that revelation sets the stage for the most personal betrayal yet, where Altair returns home to the place he trusted and faces the mentor who taught him everything.
The final turn comes with the Apple of Eden. Al-Mualim reveals it openly, holding the artifact that's been whispering underneath the story all along. The apple isn't myth or magic, it's one of the pieces of Eden, ancient technology designed to twist perception and erase free will. With it, Al-Mualim doesn't just sway followers, he remakes their reality. And as he tells Altair, so-called miracles are nothing but illusions created by the apple's light. His plan is stark. Use its power to force peace by stripping away humanity's ability to choose. As Altair enters the walls of Masyaf, the change is immediate. It's no longer the stronghold he once defended. Every assassin in the fortress moves in lockstep, their eyes fixed in a vacant haze. They're not following the creed, they're under the apple's grip. The air feels thick with control, as if even thought itself had been stolen. For Altair, the battle isn't against his brothers, it's against the will that binds them. The fight spills into hallucination. Masyaf becomes a maze of illusions, where Al-Mualim bends the battlefield with the apple's influence. Out of thin air, ghosts of his allies appear, phantoms that look and move like real assassins. Altair must cut through wave after wave, never knowing if his blade strikes the true soldier or a shadow. That uncertainty is the apple's cruelty. It doesn't conquer through blood, it conquers by making truth itself unstable. Through this chaos, a clarity forms. Altair finally understands what the Templar assassin war has been circling. The struggle isn't about who rules territory, it's about whether control should exist at all. Al-Mualim embodies that opposite vision, wielding an artifact not to guide but to dominate. By using illusions, he strips men of their capacity to choose, nullifying the very essence of the creed. For Altair, the betrayal of principles cuts deeper than any wound suffered at Solomon's temple. The duel between master and student locks in everything this story has been building towards. Al-Mualim no longer debates. He unleashes the apple, fragmenting reality, multiplying himself, turning patience into relentless pressure. Altair chases truth inside clouds of lies, forced to read not only his opponent's blade, but the trickery around it. The symbolism is sharp. It's not just a fight for survival, but for meaning of the brotherhood itself. Altair must reject false authority and stand for the creed's original promise, that people must remain free to decide their own path. Step by step, Altair weathers the illusions and closes in. In the end, steel and conviction beat the apple's distortions. With one decisive strike, he kills Al-Mualim, ending the hold over Masyaf. The apple falls silent in his hands, its glow steady but no longer tied to manipulation. And then it stirs again, not as a weapon, but as a revelation. When activated, the apple projects a brilliant holographic map across the chamber. Points of light scatter across the globe, each marking another piece of Eden hidden across continents. In an instant, the scope of the conflict explodes outward. This was never about a single relic in the Holy Land. The struggle is global, stretching far into lands unseen and centuries untold. The vision fades, leaving Altair with the artifact in hand and answers that carry even bigger questions. And as the dust settles, the perspective shifts once more, not backward into memory, but forward into the present, where the man, reliving Altair's past, begins to see that something inside him has changed.
Altair's fight may have ended, but Desmond's is only starting to show itself. Back in his cell at Abstergo, the Animus leaves him carrying more than just fatigue. The prolonged exposure triggers what the assassins call the bleeding effect. Ancestral memories and skills leaking into the present host. What this means for Desmond is simple but shocking. He now possesses Altair's instincts, including eagle vision, the ability to sense hidden truths at a glance. At first it feels like sickness. Desmond sees fleeting shapes, hearing faint whispers, and struggles to separate waking life from Animus. But the glitches settle into something sharper. With eagle vision, the entire room shift. Neutral objects gain outlines. Allies and enemies stand out in different colours. Walls that once looked bare reveal layered messages, glowing with strange light. Desmond isn't supposed to see these things, but now they stand out as clear as day. This transformation makes his cell the most important space in the story. Those white walls bloom with cryptic symbols, hand-drawn scrawls, and coded warnings pointing to the future. Words and images repeat a date, 2012. They hint at disaster, something more than political power or military conquest. These markings look deliberate, like prophecies written by someone who lived through the same collapse of boundaries Desmond is now experiencing. Implication becomes unsettling. He is not the first subject to endure this effect. That idea connects directly to Subject 16, a test case before Desmond. Clay Kaczmarek collapsed completely under the strain of Animus. His consciousness shattered under the constant overlap of his two lives. The writing on the walls are his legacy, the scattered thoughts of someone consumed by the bleeding effect, left behind as messages Desmond alone can now fully read. If Subject 16 was broken, how long before the same fate claims him? The messages also sharpen the future of Abstergo's plans. The Templars aren't just hunting the scattered artifacts. Their project points to a satellite launch in 2012 that will broadcast the same kind of mental control Altair 4 in Masyaf, only this time aimed at the entire planet. The Apple of Eden was the one form of domination. The satellite will be another, a global net cast through the sky. The writings aren't abstract symbols anymore. They are the blueprint of modern attempt to rewrite humanity's freedom. Inside Abstergo, Desmond remains caught between two figures. Warren Vidic makes no effort to hide his ruthless intent. To him, Desmond is an asset, not a person, a test subject in a grand Templar experiment. Lucy Stillman, on the other hand, quietly resists the cruelty. She offers explanations, soft words, and a glimpse of hope. Her presence hints that not everyone in the lab serves the same master. Even so, Desmond knows she operates under constant surveillance. Aid from her can only go so far. That leaves him locked in uncertainty. He's too valuable to discard now that Altair's vision and senses run through his veins, but he's also too dangerous to be let go. A living threat who could see more than the Templars would like. So he waits, pacing a room scrawled with both warnings about world-ending stakes, unsure if the new abilities are a gift, a curse, or both. As the first game closes, Desmond looks at all those writings and realizes this fight isn't finished. It's only widened. Messages speak of dates, of disaster, of global conspiracies, and the question hangs heavy. Is Abstergo already has a map? If Abstergo already has the map to every piece of Eden, what will they do with that power next?
Assassin's Creed 1 boils down to one argument. Freedom through chaos with the assassins versus enforced peace through control with the Templars and Abstergo. That clash isn't just backdrop, it drives both Altair's world in the past and Desmond's present in the Abstergo lab. Altair's arc shows the cost of pride and the weight of redemption. He fell hard at Solomon's Temple, earned back his honour on the hunt for the Nine, uncovers his master's betrayal, and revealed a map of pieces of Eden that reshaped everything. That's it for today's video. Let us know which game you'd like us to recap next. See ya!